Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. There are many reasons why a video game might end up on the list of the dirty devs. Most commonly, they'll find themselves placed onto this list due to exceptionally vitriolic or anti-consumer behavior. As many of you well know, a surefire way for a game developer to find themselves in this list is to deliberately and actively attempt to silence negative critique. And such is the case with the game developer ADHD and their video game COVID-20. As with the standard format for these videos, I'll provide the basic information in one segment, a critique of the game itself, and then the traditional discussion and/or rant at the end. I have a feeling I'll probably rant a little bit on this one. This game, released on January 28th of this year, was reviewed and critiqued by longtime friend of the channel Zaxtor99. Link to his YouTube channel will be in the pinned comment down below. And for much of this information, I would like to interject a brief thanks once again to Mellow Online and Sentinels of the Store. Longtime viewers of my channel know full well what that group is and a lot of the amazing things they have done over the years to call out dirty devs. Zaxtor99 received a DMCA strike on his review for the game as evidenced here. Also, it should be noted that the developer's listed reason for the DMCA takedown was due to, quote, third-party EULA has been breached. This is not to be put on YouTube without prior permission. And here is the section of the end-user license agreement that discusses that, where it reads, you may create, use, and distribute videos and streams of you playing or using the full released version of COVID-20 with prior permission and agreement. Which, while that phrasing is incorrect for a EULA, the developer fails to comprehend that when it comes to critique and reviews, as long as those critique and reviews conform to fair use, or really any video content that conforms to fair use, the EULA does not preclude a fair use exemption under copyright law. Now, this was something that I sat here pondering for a moment because while I was reasonably certain this was the case, I wanted to make absolutely certain. So I reached out to Richard Hogue of Hogue Law to confirm. He is an experienced attorney and YouTuber with a series titled Virtual Legality, where he covers business law surrounding a lot of current news topics, many of them video games or gaming related. A link to his channel will be in the pinned comment down below as well. And here's what he had to say in confirming for me what I already believed. The order of things is 1. IP owner has exclusive rights. Next on, IP owner can license certain of those rights away, like in a EULA or video sharing policy. And 3. IP owner's exclusive rights still yield to fair use. In other words, by the terms of fair use, a fair use is not an infringement of the exclusive rights. So what the intent of the end-user license agreement is supposed to be is to prevent an assumption of an expressed or an implied license for content creators and streamers to use the game to create videos or streams of, and the most common intent of such a clause being included is so that an express license to use the game can be provided upon request. However, fair use remains a consideration, and Zaxtor99's content has always met the 4 factors of fair use, so it would be an extreme outlier to assume that not to be the case in this instance. And as such, this DMCA takedown is likely spurious. At the very least, we do know full well that it was malicious in nature. The developer didn't stop there though. He began emailing Zaxtor99, and in the email on your screen, we see a very passive-aggressive attempt to go after Zaxtor99, finishing off with him saying he would like to physically harm Zaxtor99 and asking him to stop screwing with his stuff. This led to very heated exchanges between Zaxtor99 and the developer in Zaxtor's now banned Steam user review, in which ADHD Games stated, quote, I'm also in the process of contacting all the devs he's abusing with his YouTube and helping them make successful copyright takedown notices like mine. His abuse and bitterness has no place in the community. So not only has he made a spurious DMCA takedown, he is encouraging other developers to follow suit in a weaponization attempt to completely deplatform Zaxtor99 and have his channel removed from YouTube. Now, to be 100% transparent and fair, Zaxtor99 apparently had originally released that email as unredacted, which he should have been more mindful. He also allowed himself to get far too heated, and that has led him to say some things that I do not at all agree with. However, that does not at all change the fact that the developer is engaging in active censorship through the use of the DMCA takedown system and is, by his own admission, inciting other developers to do the same. And the reason that Valve used to uphold the ban on the user reviews Zaxtor99 had made? Well, apparently it still showed the developer's first name within the email snip per Zaxtor99's discussions with the Steam moderators. Now, as you all might guess, I do have plenty of words to say about all of this, but before I devolve into a full-on rant, let's take a look at the game itself. As far as quality goes, one should never expect too much polish when it comes to a title that costs $5 as this one does. However, even at that price point, the game is completely subpar in my opinion. The game does have a large amount of options, but as with everything else contained within the game, a lot of those were likely purchased as part of an asset pack. Nothing within this game is original, which is unsurprising, but thankfully it is at least not a direct asset flip, merely a tossed asset salad, and an unappetizing one at that. The controls are functional enough, however the level design and structure leaves much to be desired. The weapons have no weight to them whatsoever, the zombie enemies spawn in and silently run up to attack you, never giving you any indication as to their presence at all. More often than not, you will find yourself suddenly being attacked from behind by between 3 and 10 zombies that had suddenly flashed into existence while you were looking in another direction. Sometimes the zombies might make a sound when they get close to you, but that was rare in my experience. And whenever you get close to coins or vending machines that are placed there to purchase perks, such as double health, or to be able to purchase ammo or something like that, a wave of silent zombies invariably appear and spend their entire extremely short existences attempting to mad dash towards you in a sad conga line of easily dispatchable meat bags. The game is simple. The only reasons I died in this game were due to game bugs or not noticing a particularly large horde that spawned behind me and I got pinned in place. And that's coming from someone that is absolutely trash tier at these type of games. Of course, the game does say on its store page, quote, "There are no horde warnings in this zombie outbreak," which I personally take it to mean that the developer was incapable of programming them to emit their zombie attack calls while they are further away than already being able to damage you. In one of the more unfortunate 20-minute-long segments of my life, which was all the longer I could bear to play this game, I counted as many bugs, glitched-out zombies, and invisible walls as there were minutes played. It's just not a good game, and I could not even be willing to recommend this thing for $1. Also, on top of that, when you go and look at the Steam store page, why does it say massively multiplayer? This has a single-player mode and a multiplayer mode where you can either host a server of your own or create more. This is not a massively multiplayer game, not in the least. I suppose the only compliment I possibly could give this game is that it is not as psychologically destructive to play as The Slaughtering Grounds, but not by much. Do not buy this game. The game? Well, the game is trash. A valiant first attempt, but a mashup of assets hastily cobbled together shows either no drive and no passion, or simply not enough experience to be able to create a game that people would find worthwhile to play. Now, I can easily recognize this just as Zaxtor99 did, and while I have no doubt in my mind that he was far more acrimonious with his review than I was here, the underlying critique would have been no less valid. And it was this critique, or at least how it was delivered, that caused ADHD games to fly off the handle as he did. But how he responded was as anti-consumer and destructive as you can get. He struck down the critique because of hurt feelings and attempted to dress it up as a violation of a customer agreement that is utterly incapable of precluding fair use, which Zaxtor99's video was. He had no legal right to take the action that he did. He then continued to state that he was going to weaponize other game developers to have them do the same. This would result in the destruction of Zaxtor99's YouTube channel with little hope of seeing it return without a significant legal battle. A statement as full of bitter spitefulness as I can imagine. Now, I've said it 1,000 times before, and I'll say it 1,000 times again until these utterly incompetent fools finally get it through their underdeveloped craniums. The DMCA is a shield to protect copyright owners and prevent theft of intellectual property that they own. It is not a hammer to be used to beat down on valid critique. It is not a weapon to bludgeon creators into silence in order to assuage hurt feelings. And it sure as hell should not be turned into a weapon of a rabid mob to completely destroy a critic's channel in order to silence them. Because critique is a necessary and vital part of this industry and is beyond crucial for consumer awareness and consumer protection. And this type of action is something that absolutely should be abhorred. Now, I bought your shitty game, I pissed all over it, and I pissed all over your deplorable actions, ADHD games. You want to try and come after creators? I'll be waiting for you. Welcome to the Dirty Devs. I hope you enjoy your stay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. I'll see you next time.